here, I'll go ahead and call this this meeting to order. And public comments. Don't see any. Again, thank you for being here. We this was kind of a big enough deal that we thought it'd be best to have a workshop to discuss it before we brought it to council next week. And we'll, if it's cool with you, when we come, when something like this is going on, that's going to be our plan. If we feel like it needs to have further discussion, make sure you guys have all the information and time you need. We have been, Chief and I have been talking about for a while now, and you guys know this, we talked about it in the last budget season, about the facilities, growth, right? The building at Roy is almost 20 years old and they've outgrown it. And so one of the ideas that we had talked about was, what if we were to have an off-site training facility? What would that free up at the police station in Roya? Seemed like a good idea. We talked about different pieces of property and building something. Y'all come in.
Apologies.
I think it was last council meeting. Chief said, "Hey, the Hearst building across the street just went up for sale," and so I said, "Okay, let's get on it, because it's not going to stay for sale long." And so we were able to go ahead and get it under contract pending all this approval. They started working on kind of the layout and other details. So I hope you got a chance to kind of look at the contract, the price, $300,000. And then initially we said, let's talk about $50,000 for renovations, and he's going to talk about it. So we might be, what we will probably request is, can we come back to you with because we just kind of, without looking at a lot of details, just said, let's start there. And then as we've talked about it, we've decided, let's see if council's okay with us buying the facility, and then us come back with a real clear, more concrete budget on renovations. And that's kind of what we're thinking right now. But anyway, kind of wanted to give you the background of what we were thinking, and then give Chief Menden the floor to go over all the details. And Chief, if you want to come join us, you're welcome to, and make sure you guys have plenty of time to ask any questions. Yes, sir.
Has he followed the time-honored tradition of the mayor being tased?
I'm not, that tradition ends with me.
Let's do that tonight.
I'm welcome to have, any of you are welcome to volunteer in my place. Okay.
Did you do it voluntarily?
They all get it. They all do it.
You know what? They're called to it. I love that they do what they do.
Off the presses.
Yes.
In spring. But, I mean, just kind of what the mayor said was, we had talked about, and even like looking at where the new fire station is supposed to be. There's going to be some land there, so we can build a building there, and trying to bridge the gap between. And I know I've talked with Lisa about it before, but ultimately the plan is between police and fire is that we would take over the whole building, and at some point there'd be a new central fire station. But that's several years down the road. So we literally have no space. I think we talked about that. There's, if I needed to have an office for somebody, another detective, they'd be out in the hallway.
Would it be across the street? Would it be training, or?
Training will move across the street. Just that immediately frees up. And then probably somebody else will go too. So that immediately frees up 1 to 2 offices. Then there's also the potential that the current smaller training rooms upstairs, you could potentially segue that off into like 4 offices. So you, in essence, by moving this across the street, you create 6 offices immediately. Now you have to build out that training room into it, or how you want to do it. You make it straight offices, you do cubicle style, however you want to do it. 2 offices are going to free up actual offices. And what we run into as far as training, is a good question Walter asked, is like, well, don't you have training space? Well, we have the smaller office upstairs, comfortably 15, 20, once you put in there. There is the one that the fire department has that we kind of share is theirs, and it's on their schedule when we can use it. But we really, other than going to the Bishop Center, or basically just big borrow still all across the city, and even across in Little Rock. I mean, we did some of the Fix Tactics, we went to a gym in Little Rock, then went to one here in Bryant, we borrowed stuff from the school. We really just don't have any space where we can train when we want to train, because we're 24/7. And if I go to borrow space from you, and you close at 5, then I'm gonna make my guys come in before 5 to train. Where it's a large space, when we come in, if we want to train at 8 o'clock at night and do defensive tactics for the night shift, and we come in at 8 o'clock at night and do defensive tactics. Kind of like, same thing, concept as our range out back. Like this week, we're doing night fire. There's no overtime involved in any of that, because we do not fire in broad daylight. We just go inside, close the door, adjust the lights, and we do a little light fire. We're able to do that. I think the multi-purpose part is, it's a classroom. We use it for ceremonies, things like that too. But then the plan is to like have mats in the back so we can lay on the floor and stuff. And do, the goal is to do quarterly defensive tactics training. I think all y'all realize the more training we do, the less liability the city has. And it's not something that's really been done a lot in the past. We've really been on the uptick in our training the last several years. Once you get on board and being right across the street, it's just, I've not seen any calls on the street and stuff in here. We'll do this. When it came open, we're looking at going, not that Hilltop's too far away, the land that the city is bought, but you'd have to build and electric and all sorts of stuff. This is there, 2,400 square foot. Most of you probably already know it was a tanning salon at one point. And actually, when you go up behind the Hertz, it's still a tanning salon. The rooms are still there. So our plan is just basically gut it. And as far as the vast majority of construction, if there's 2 offices we want to build up front, and the rest of it's just going to be open. It is all classroom.
How much of it's air conditioning now?
It's all air conditioning.
It's all, okay.
Yeah, no, it's all air conditioning. I mean, they just don't use it. When tomorrow one quick trip in there, I don't think, they don't even turn the lights on one side. There's 2 hallways that run down the side where they have it, and these are all,
When you put that on the left side, chief, that's the, on the left side is what currently,
that's what it currently looks like.
It's all steel building, right? Like you could take down interior walls, no issues.
Yes, I mean, so like the interior walls, paint, because they're all sheetrock walls. I mean, it looks like an office building. Inside it just has bays for tandem bed bays is what they basically had in there.
that'll go to the city anyway. We got cut up for the city.
Yeah, those are really convenient. So it's literally just a demo job of taking it out.
If we needed it, it's not right, we'll go up.
Could you build a second story on it? I'm not an engineer, but I'd say no.
No.
And I'm looking over to the corner of my eye. 2,400. Now, there is room on the side that you can possibly add on. They have like a large, I don't know if you've driven by, they have a large covered awning that, you know, I don't know what they have it for, to be honest, but that could go away easily, and you could actually add on to the building if you wanted to. So you could do that. What do you think?
It's got a lot of good parking spaces too, if you had to put
So
a different
they have that,
profile.
and that's quite large. That's like a large RV camper that's parked up there in that picture, so give you an idea of that already. So there's room to get that on and still have room to park on the side and the back.
Sounds like another runner, doesn't it? So how many hours a week do you think that the police department would utilize that space?
Well, training's gonna be over there full time.
But how many hours a week do you think the police department is going to utilize the big space, the classroom
Big
space? My question is, could other departments in the city utilize it if you wanted to?
It'd be just like our training room upstairs, that you Joy books it all the time.
Yeah, it seems to make sense, because there's certainly no room here unless something magically happens.
Yeah.
Does anything magically happen here?
Nothing magical.
I guess my only concern is without having a renovation budget, you know, is that kind of, like, what does that do? Do we have?
Well, the reason why we backed off because the mayor asked me if I thought we could reno it and I'd outfit it for 50. And at first I said, well, yeah, and then as we started looking at stuff, I'm like, well, I don't know. Because until you got the building and stuff, I can't tell you what size chairs and tables we want to put in there until the space is finished and you actually measure out the floor plan for what the finished space is. Because I don't want to tell you, okay, we're going to buy these chairs and tables and we buy them, these are not the right chairs and tables. They're too big or they're too small. But as far as the reno itself, I mean, honestly, my plan is to get inmates to demolish it on the inside, and depending on how it looks. I mean, we have to get a contractor, but I know that when I was at class, we had a crew, but that's what they did. They came around and did those things. Sling doesn't necessarily have that, but you can agencies and people like that, and they have work crews that come around. That's a lot of free labor for a project like this. You can do it. Now, every person can't do it, but we're government, so we can utilize that service. It requires us to get a dumpster and take it all out, and that's done. Like that. Until it's hard for me to go around this quickly. I could not get this moving so fast. I haven't had time to go around and get quotes for flooring and have an electrician go into it, and especially when they're still in it. When Hertz is in there, and it was kind of awkward. They're up front doing their business work, and we're in there, but
We're talking about just like traditional office space renovation, not anything like
no, when you're looking, I mean, this is what's there, and this is,
the plan of what.
I mean, this is the lobby. You put an office on this side, an office on that side, still a small lobby. This is all open. This part right here, this is already pre-existing. There's already two, we're not building 2 bathrooms, there's already 2 bathrooms back there. They have a large storage, or 2 buildings. My plan, and told me to do a great job executing it, was to take it all the way across, instead of being a hallway right there, just make that one giant room. That's also where the hot water heater, things like that are. And just use that for storage, so when you're not using these chairs and tables, you put them in the storage room. And then, like if you were going to do a promotional ceremony, then you just put chairs down, obviously. Put the tables up, have areas here where cabinetry, where you could have like, if you have a class, put a carriage out there, whatever snacks. Give a cabinetry to keep office supplies, things like that in. And it would all be TV instead of like doing projectors and stuff. Projectors would be expensive and bulbs, all that stuff. Pretty much our training room now is all done on TV. You just have your laptop and run it off that way. But I would feel more comfortable getting quotes for all this, come back to you, what they're saying here, you're sitting going, well, we're gonna spend 50, and they come back and go, it's really 65. And I don't have that yet, because I haven't had time to get all that.
Do you have the training equipment already in other locations and you're going to centralize it, or will there be new training equipment?
We don't have it. We would be buying chairs and tables, and then we have some mats, but not enough to outfit the room. And they're older. They're probably
They're probably 15 years old. We got them from school because they moved out
New
new
mats.
active mats, but they were, but they served our purpose for smaller areas.
So they budgeted for that.
Yeah,
Just
price that out.
more of a complete picture.
exactly. So I mean, it's the remodel, but it's also the outfit, because obviously they're going to want. I mean, the cops are picky. They're going to want a table or a desk, a chair to sit in, and they're probably going to want a computer and a phone or something.
Yeah.
So, I don't have all that yet. And instead of just making up numbers to give you, I don't want to do that.
The office space that those people are occupying, we took that furniture out of it, and we're still going to put
The next person
furniture back to those
Yeah.
too, so.
That answers my question, would it behoove us to go ahead and quote getting, if you move the training over, like go ahead and price that out, whatever's left, just to see. I don't know, you're not, maybe, yeah, the existing space.
Go ahead and
leaving.
get quotes to renovate it as well.
Because you're talking about cubicles or desks, like.
Yeah, and you could. It's part of it. I mean, do I necessarily need those 4 offices right now? No. but we will. We will have.
Well, and some of those furniture stores, they give you bargains based on, you know, if you need X many chairs, if you need some over there.
Free furniture.
It would be, that thing would be worth exploring.
We spent the afternoon looking at ACI. It's not free, but it is a little bit, that can be a little, Arkansas Correctional Industries does some stuff.
I'm gonna play my new kid on the block card, and I asked Chief this question privately already, but, you know, we've got potentially a major conversation coming up about pensions and things like that. So, you know, as far as allocating funds, there's a limited amount of funds, this is a big chunk of money. Could you address any of that, just to?
Look how we paid for this.
Yeah, we haven't heard source of funds yet either.
So, on the pension side, I think what we'll bring to the committee in the next few months will be a plan to cover funding that's not a one-time expense, right? It's going to be a plan to help deal with that for years to come. So it's going to be different than what this funding source is, okay? Because it's not a one-time big lump sum for that. It's a long-term fix.
One city budget.
Right, but, so this would be from city savings, from cash on hand. One time, get this taken care of. So it's a different pot.
Cash reserve.
Right, cash reserve. Not ongoing, except for the, obviously, utilities, and there are some ongoing expenses. But the majority of this is going to be covered by cash reserves. But again, it's an opportunity that came up that we think we should take, specifically to this right across the street from the police station. But it was something we had been talking about that we probably would have brought to you as part of the long-term capital improvement plan that we're working on. Since it came up like this, the opportunity, let's go ahead and bring this to council now. Does that answer your question, kind of?
But
Okay.
So also, as you guys know, in your packet you get from me each month, we're migrating from our old 120 days to a buckets approach for our cash reserve plan. But in the end, you know, what we're all familiar with, I ran the numbers. Right now, 350,000 would be between 6 to 7 days in cash, and we're at 163 days. And there is $100,000 coming in that JW had mentioned, you know, the other day from that payback on some stuff. So, you know, it would drop it down a little bit. So, you know, in your packet for this month, you'll have a new page, and what we're working on is all of these ongoing facilities and maintenance, having our depreciation buckets for those things in the future, but we don't have that detail yet. So that kind of goes in with what you're asking.
So that was one of the questions. You had 6, 7 days.
Is the building been appraised? Is it hit 300K? It's easy then.
I mean, I would think so. 125 square foot. That's pretty cheap.
shopping center down the way toward Shane's for sale. Where my sister's office is.
Oh, really? Yes, sir.
While y'all have been sitting here discussing it, I've reached out to 2 of our businesses, and both are interested in helping sponsor their renovation. So I have a meeting on Friday with one of those, and we will discuss some dollars. So if I can help y'all raise some funds through some of our members to help offset that renovation cost and maybe outfit it, I'll bring those to the mayor's table, and he can take it from there. So.
Thank you, Shane.
It's like naming rights or something like that?
Not necessarily, just you know. I think it is in all of my business's best interest that our police are trained and equipped and ready to go.
First,
Yeah, probably more along the lines, just want to turn the table today in a room.
Might be a
Has there
chair.
been discussions about future planning instead of
you know, I mean, this is something that just came up, but just bring, how are you gonna solve the problem? I mean, have you started having discussions about how to solve the problem
Yes,
of public safety space?
yes, we have. And I think at this point, until we have more, when we get into the comprehensive growth plan, I think we're gonna bring a lot of ideas to you and to the community. So we have a clear, yes, we're kind of all in agreement. But right now, internally, police, fire, administration, we all like the idea of building a central fire station and the police department taking over the entire facility on Boyd Lane.
More or less, this is the bridge to get you to
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
this
Because you're
is,
looking at, I'm sorry, sir.
no, you're good.
You're looking, that's a minimum 5 years down the road.
Yeah, but we need to start planning for it now.
Yes.
Exactly. And we don't have any space
No.
now.
Right, no,
I
and the answer to that is
understand. I
yes.
understand.
And the two, but both of these things are gonna work. When we have the capital improvement bucket, we figure out all the stuff we have now, it's gonna need to be replaced. We're also working on, here's all the stuff we need to have. And you'll be able to see all of that in one big, nice, beautiful spreadsheet. And then we're gonna use that when we start the comprehensive plan with all the surveys and basically, what we're gonna be talking about is Bryant 2050. Okay, what does this community look like in Bryant in 2050? We think that looks like a central fire station in this, but that'll be something that we're asking the residents to weigh in on, right?
And that's what, I mean,
Do
the
you
plan,
like these ideas?
the plan we had talked about, like I said, was getting something off-site to get some people out of the building. And we knew we had that land over there that we were looking at, but it literally just came over.
This is an asset that we can repurpose down the road if we don't need it. So-
So that was the other thing we were gonna say is that for sure, when it comes to that point and the police department takes over the whole building, if there's not the need for it, it repurposes to another part of the city, or sell it. I don't think, I don't see the property value going down, I mean, especially where it's headed.
It does buy us.
How old is the building?
Oh,
So that's still 20 years. Yeah, it's real. I'm sure. Yeah. There's a date right down here. And that bottom block.
One thing that concerns me is with, in 2030, the growth of that.
We'll see
We're
what
gonna have that one then.
With that,
Higher building four.
yeah,
That's not right.
I guess this is when they turn it into a,
That's when it's, in 2004.
go for it.
We'll need a roof in the next year.
What's that, it says 20 years.
Four of those.
I wouldn't kidding.
Is it metal roof?
I think it is.
What's the status we're gonna have the best trained and most tan police officers in the state of Arkansas.
The beds are gone, right?
Oh, okay.
They don't come back, I'm sorry, okay.
Now, there's a nice area in the back, I guess they can lay out. The beds are long gone, thankfully, get rid of anybody.
well, it looks like it is metal roof. That's a plus.
It is a metal roof.
Yeah, it's got limited lock time. Like, needs replacing.
Chief, is it handicap accessible?
Yeah.
Zero
So it has
entry.
the doors, the double doors. Now, it doesn't have like the automatic opening doors, but it was built before that compliance came into place. So, to my knowledge, I don't think you have to, unless you do a new construction, I don't think you have to go back and fix it.
How old is the HVAC? That's why it would have been.
There's no house.
I'd probably lean toward those units in the brand new. So, they might need to replace, they're not huge units. No. There's two.
I think 2 years.
2 years.
I would say they replace two. They literally use maybe less than a quarter of the building.
any other questions? All right, so unless you have an issue, we'll bring budget adjustment we'll bring you Tuesday is purchase. We will come back to you with a clear renovation budget. Give Chief some time to put that together. The other thing would be the tasers. I don't know if you have any questions about that. That's a contract that's just gone up in price.
The pricing was unclear to me. I think it said 5-year in one spot, and are we paying all 5 years up front?
That's the city's option. So the current plan we have expires this year. And it was a 5-year plan. And you pay the same amount every year. This budget was under 17,000, which we don't have a payment this year, but it is budgeted for. But the price is going up. And the current model we have, they still make, but they're not going to offer you the same deal. We were working on this since January. But, so yeah, we could keep the same model that we have, but it's not going to be warranty, it's not going to be supported. So if you break one, it's $1,200 and you're out. With our current plan, if we break one, we send a new one and we cover it. This one gets us the latest model they have, because we were in a 5-year plan, we're 3 models behind, which that's fine because we did 5 years on that plan. Then this one, when this 5-year plan ends, this one, Taser 10 will probably be Taser 12, who knows? I will say this is the most, will be the right word, most advanced and probably the most accurate Taser I've ever seen. And I've been a Taser instructor, well, not one anymore, but since 2008, this is probably the best model we've ever had. Literally, the officer, they call it Taser 10, the S10 arsenal, which the officer can use. But this one also includes, so yeah, we pay $17,000 just about, but we also have to buy cartridges, batteries, send officers to renew their instructors. That's all extra. So there's another $2,000 to $3,000 a year that we can pay over a different line for training for that. This one, it's all encompassing. We're getting the instructor spots. You know, we shoot the cartridge, they shoot us new ones in the mail and stuff like that. So yeah, the price is right there, but there's nothing else added to it. That is your price.
So my question was, is the price that's shown the price for the year or the price for the entire 5-year contract?
It is both. It's your choice. If we want to pay, enjoy the one to do it. If you want to pay $343,000 and just be done with it, then we're good for 5 years. If you want to pay the $68,000 a year, that's all that is that number divided by 5.
It's also,
Which is that's exactly what we did last time. We did it and paid a yearly.
It also gives us some virtual reality headsets to do some other types of virtual reality training with the Taser and with some other options. So it does give us some more options of training with that, the one we're buying.
That is the thing. This is a different version, and so it does operate differently than the one they're used to. And it's just what they've come up with is instead of spending how much time and money on a lot of cartridges and stuff, you start off using the VR and working with it that way. And it also has other types. It kind of augments into what we do with the simulator that's inside our range facility. Kind of does the same thing. It's not just Taser, there's also some firearms and de-escalation stuff with it. But to teach them how to properly use it, you do this, and you build a little more muscle memory without having to fire off $2,000 worth of cartridges for the whole department. So that's how they start you off, and that's why things like, well, if you do it now, by the time all your stuff comes in, your equipment, you transition, when your warranty runs out on these, you'll move forward.
Getting money back for the whole year.
That's factored into that. So I asked, I said, you're going to give me money back? He said, well, that's factored into that.
Does this,
Like a clear coat on your car.
does this interface with the training we have on?
It doesn't interface with it, but it does go hand in hand with it. But now, I mean, you could do it out there. You can do it in your VR, but it doesn't truly interface with it.
Carl, when do you need to pay for the building? Does it need to go, after the budget adjustments need to go to this next meeting on the 27th, or is there any?
I'm not a mayor. we signed, it's a pending contract, so I don't.
Yeah, I think,
Did we ever find out if there was a 60-day or 90-day? The reason I'm just asking because I have very few budget adjustments this month, and I've always had the goal of only bringing you guys budget adjustments once a quarter. So I was going to try and hold them and find some more things out. But if we have to, then I'll go ahead and put everything I've got on this list, because it's the same.
I don't have a realtor in the winter here, that's probably gonna be better than I don't know.
Probably the expiration date on the offer.
yeah, it's offered. I think it gave us good, plenty of time.
I remember it saying something about approval.
Either way, we're going to.
Yeah.
30 days, if you get approval in May, at the May meeting, right?
I mean, we can. I'm just asking.
That'd be, we would only be approving it if she brought it to us as a budget adjustment, correct?
Yeah.
So,
We'll bring it.
So that's
We'll go ahead
fine.
and-
I mean, I was just asking for clarity. We can.
They can, basically, if you approve it, I mean, you can essentially close. I mean, it's a cash deal, you can essentially close within a week.
All right, we'll bring it to you this month. Next week.
But I need to be a realtor.
All right. Any other questions?
I go ahead meeting Tuesday night.
Yes, sir.
You want me to mention the elevator?
Yes, that's good. Yes, please mention that. Yeah.
More consistent.
The public safety building has one elevator. It is on the PD side, but it is the only elevator in there. It broke yesterday. They came out and looked at it today. Some type of hack, something like that.
Cylinder pack or the hydraulics.
Sounds bad.
It's bad when the repairman leaves and he's like, I will have somebody email you the quote. It's even worse when they just email you quote, says, I'm contacting the manufacturer and we're gonna get back with you on a quote. But it's not covered by your service contract. That's what she said. I don't know, but I highly suspect it's not gonna be cheap. But we are by law forced to have that elevator.
Well, that'll be something else. Bring it to you. We'll,
And I'm just gonna throw that out there. There's nothing in either one of our maintenance budgets that's gonna cover that. So once you use the 20-year-old elevator. It is serviced 2 or 3 times a year though, so I don't really kind of understand how you test this, but.
Some of my cars, each car service 3 times a year, but still don't break it.
good catch. That's right.
I will, I'll
Um,
probably have it next week when we meet. Maybe on ballpark on.
all right, we've got the funding committee after this. You know, council members that aren't on the committee, please stay if you want. But don't feel any pressure. And if there's any questions, anything we didn't cover tonight, please reach out. Let us know before Tuesday. We'll make sure you get all the information. All right, so,